Chopped is freedom to me. In this day of legislation and over control, chopped is one of the last bastions of fun left to us, providing we behave ourselves and don't ruin it for ourselves. Yeah. Outings like chopped and other automotive off-road things are necessary to give somewhere for people to blow the steam off. Actually, I have so much fun there that I haven't even got time to get drunk, which is, I like a drink, but I hardly drink at all at Chopped. I just enjoy it so much. I just enjoy driving the car sideways and trying to control it. If I can get a complete lap of that track without moving the steering wheel, it's the ultimate to me. I've only ever done it once. Dukes of Hazzard going round the roundabout. Yes, well, sliding's control. It's not so much speed, but control like drifting. Well, drifting's the newer version on bitumen, but dirt track, that's always interests me, to be able to drive a car sideways in control and basically looking out the passenger window. Like with drifting, you've got to kick that car and get it going and then drive it on the throttle. But you've got to throw it in hard so it'll keep going sideways and not go forward when you accelerate. I like it when it's wet and muddy and slippery. I don't make dust. I can see and I can slide. You don't have to knock yourself out, have fun. It's just natural. Just get in a car and enjoy it, whether you're cruising or sliding or dragging. And you can drive things around that the safety Nazis won't allow us to. It's just a lucky car. It just goes quick. Before this engine, it had a small block Chevrolet, a 305 engine out of a Mercruiser boat that I got very cheap, and it turned out to be quite a powerful engine. But it was unfair to the other drivers because it was an overhead valve and reasonably high performance engine, so I removed it and put this Ford V8 in that I built for my street hot rod and was no longer using, and it goes nearly as good. It's just the good engines help a lot. You get you mobile and you can also drive out of trouble if you've got a little bit of horsepower there. For what it looks, it handles exceptionally well. It's just an old Chevrolet. It's got no tricks at all to it. It's got the original 4 springs that were on it in 1938, and it just handles well. It's just a lucky car. It's all made with junk like all our cars, or my cars are. Nearly everything around here, apart from one I've imported from the US, is made up from discarded rubbish. And the perfect engine, simplicity. Once again, we love these side valve engines that we're using. The old Ford V8 engine, it's not the simplest side valve engine ever made, but it's a wonderfully reliable piece of metal. It can be thrashed mercilessly and stand up to it. And there's several other engines on the planet that wouldn't take 1 minute of punishment, where a Ford V8 will take hours and years of punishment. They're just astounding. They overheat and they do things, but they cool down again and they go again. They're just marvellous. I guess they got the balance right. The weight of the components going up and down aren't heavy enough to hurt themselves. I have no idea. But like a Ford V8, a 1936 Ford V8, you can start it up and hold it flat out for as long as you like, and it'll get boring. A 1938 Chev motor, you'll start it up and hold it flat out for about 30 seconds, and it'll spread all over the world. It just, the weight of the components is wrong. I reckon the pistons are too heavy and the big ends are too little and the oil supply is not sufficient. But this little engine just astounds me. Those old race car drivers, they just made everything and drove anything that was available. It wasn't all Ford V8s, it was everything there. Old Buicks and old Chevs and everything that you could lay your hands on. I've driven race cars, stock cars, speedway cars, since 1969. I've probably had a dozen. And this is the best car I've ever driven, and there's no reason for it whatsoever. It just came out right. No, I like racing the car. It's me against the car, not against the boys. They just happen to be there at the same time. But I'm racing this car. I'm trying to be its master. And if I pass people doing it, it just happens. But I don't like beating other people. It's just not my nature. I'm not competitive, but I like to fight with the car. The Spades is a real club. The guys are all just car aficionados, and not the most expensive or the best cars. They just love old cars. The club has no politics, and it's simple. They run it really simple. They buy a couple of crates of beer per meeting. You buy them at a cheap price per stubby, and that sort of funds the club. When we got the Aces of Spades together, we decided to do spirited demonstrations, which makes it look like racing instead of just a parade of cars. We're all semi-retired, and it's just a social get-together, but it's constructive as well. Yeah. In the last 5 years, at least 5 cars or more, 6 cars have come out of that Friday afternoon play time. And we do everything really well because we do it twice. I'm lucky with all my cars, actually. I mean, they've all come out better than I expected them to, considering the amount spent on them. We don't just go to a parts bin and spend money like a lot of hot rodders. We source it and use what's available, what can be modified to suit. I feel that cars are things. We've created them, but we've made a wonderful, wonderful thing in the automobile.
Yeah, that should be fine, I reckon. I thought someone could have got in beside me there. No worries. No, I reckon we'll be right.
Mud.
That's a Ford flathead, a 49 twin spinner motor, single spinner motor. That's been walked over a bit. Nice to see a Ford in a shed.
Smell of oil, isn't it? Delicious. What was that? Smell of oil. strong oil tank. It's only plastic.